Thank you very much. Now, anybody got anything to say tonight? Things noticed? Any questions? Yes, sir.
What to say?
Let's just
I
go.
always got something to say, don't I?
Pardon?
I've always got something to say.
Oh.
Tell you what I've realised. There comes a time where there's no point seeking. There's no point looking to find what you already got.
You've got a point now.
That's exactly the conclusion I've come to.
No.
And it's just being aware that I am that. And just allowing that knowledge.
If you don't pick it up, you can't weigh you down, can it? Good point. See, it's all there, but you don't have to catch on to it.
It's a bit simple, isn't it? We make it complicated.
That is the most difficult thing about it. Being too simple.
It is, it's so
People
simple.
don't go so simple it can't work. Back to fact, it works outside better.
It's that like not trying anymore. I'm not trying. There's no point trying.
There's no point pushing anything.
Absolutely
Just observe what's there
Yeah.
and the
absolutely.
manner in which you're seeing it. So make sure you don't react to it.
So that's seeing nothing but seeing a lot.
Yes, it's a curious situation actually in the thought world. You sit there just watching everything, you're doing nothing entirely, and yet things to be done, you do them without any problem. Just respond to the need of the moment, no problem. Anything else anywhere? Come on.
Yeah, yesterday morning, I was awoken about 4:30 or so, and there was something going on, and I had a sort of an inkling of the something like the infinite extent of life and how. I can't quite put it into words, but how it sort of goes into finer and finer and deeper levels to the infinite.
Not quite, no. I'm quite with you on that. Yeah. It's very difficult to explain. I'll grant you that. But you're having a good go.
I'm not sure if there's much more I can say about it, but it's something that's has been in the background, sort of pondering and mulling over.
That's right.
I think something sort of was realised yesterday.
That's right. I know what you mean. Yeah. It's very profound, isn't it? That's why it can't go into words, with it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can sort of feel this thing that's reaching into these sort of infinite levels, but is that something that somehow we can sort of traverse?
Yes, well, the main thing is that it will go on and keep expanding as it does. But a point will arise when you begin to realise that that is what you are, not somebody looking at it anymore.
Right.
So you might say you're looking at this, but then you'll be looking from the inside of that out to this way, if you see what I mean. So the reversal takes place.
Right.
There's the outside looking in, it's not the inside looking out, as you might say.
Okay.
And that's the kind of thing that happens when we realise that you are all of this in the particular, in the manner of its qualities but not in its manifestation.
Mm.
There's a big difference there. I mean, see, you still start with the manifestations of looking at this quality.
Mm.
And when you become that quality, look, I'm not that manifestation, but I'm the quality that's a quality
Okay.
from which it came.
Mm.
You can't see yourself, as you might say. Does it mean to say there's nobody there?
Okay. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So in a sense, if you can see it's not you,
Mm.
if you are it, who's looking at it?
Yeah.
Nobody there.
Okay.
That's just an isness, as you might say.
Mm.
A bit awkward.
I've simplified it, mate. If I know it, I know I'm not it. You know, objects, if I know it, it's just an object.
If you put a name on it, you've got an object. But you can know it without it being an object. It's just an experience. That's a different thing
But I'm not the
altogether.
experience.
That's a different thing altogether.
That's the problem. I was looking for an experience.
There's a question that one might ask. If I'm unable to see things as separate from me, do I exist? Because you see things other than you, I know I am because that's not me, that's not me, that's not me, that's... But suppose they weren't there. Would I exist?
Yeah. Yeah, I still
Difficult.
exist, but it's a funny one, that, isn't it? I know I still exist, but if there's no object...
There's existence, yes, I'll go with that, but is it me? Is it you?
The awareness is yes. But it's a funny one, that, without objects.
Is that like in deep sleep?
Yeah, that's one.
I mean, in a sense, when you drop things, you've got sort of momentarily you've got an empty space, just nothing there. Do I exist in that moment? You see, we really got to look at origins. Where did it all come from? Anything at all. Everything. Where did it come from? It evolved. Out of what? Nothing. Space or emptiness is the main thing of all. In so many different ways. But I say, unless there was an emptiness there, how could a solid come to be? There would be nowhere to put it. If everything was solid, it just clammed up. There'd be no there'd be nothing with that. It's like this room. It's because it's an empty room. We can all come into it. And the same when we're talking. It's the spaces in between words that give you the meaning of the words. If you cram them all up together, they mean nothing. True? So it's the gaps between them that are much more important perhaps than the words. And again, here's another little thing. Is it possible to understand anything in thought at all unless it feels right? Suppose you feel a little uneasy, can you understand? You can't, can you? So to a degree, there's an emptiness there because that is the stillness where you're undisturbed. If you're disturbed, there's confusion. If you're still, I know now. So the feeling of being all right is an empty feeling rather than a full one. Yeah. A little bit joking to him. Is that the true nature in consciousness?
But it's also full.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is. We live in a world, quite frankly, that is delusory. It's not absolutely true at all.
It's apparent, isn't it? It's an apparent reality.
We accept scientific theories in many ways, of course, mainly because we don't understand them. But the general theory is there's no such thing as a solid because it's merely electrical forces whizzing around in space, so the idea gives you the illusion of solidarity. Is that not so?
It's interpretation.
So, I mean, in that sense, it really has nothing.
That's right. Even the senses aren't really senses.
And can you have movement without solids? That's a good point now.
Russell, I had the experience at the end of the meditation on Monday.
Yeah.
I had the experience of feeling a complete emptiness and feeling a void and a darkness, a very deep darkness in the whole of my abdomen.
Yes.
And it was a very full black emptiness.
Yes.
When I sat down just now, I started to experience that again, and then I started to experience that cough, that
yes,
I'm talking about.
Yes, that
and
makes sense.
My mind thought, oh, it's a cough, and I went to just, and then I sort of remembered, and it passed, and just a lot of peace, and it's like a movement inside my head of, I don't know, energy, I suppose.
Yes,
I was going to say
appreciate
fluid,
that. Yes.
And a sense of the night sky as well.
That's where it should be, yeah. So there's an affinity there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't frightening either, was it? No, quite the opposite. Yeah. It's almost though you felt really at home there, because there was nobody there either, was there?
No, but I...
Just an experience.
No, there wasn't. But I also felt coming out of that a sense of someone with roses around them. Yeah,
yes, I can appreciate that, yes. Yes. That's very good. Excellent. Excellent. That's coming on fine. Getting to appreciate the deep, dark, black void. Keep visiting that. And then you find it's no longer flat. So you become very, very energized.
Yeah, it was like pulsating.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
And if you get an energy arising up.
Yes.
That's right. Good. Excellent. Goody. That's nice. Things are moving nicely. That's what I like to hear about these things, so I know where you're up to. Just keep going as you are. That's all you need to do. Don't be bothered about things and don't go looking for anything. Just let it show you when it's ready. As it will. Yes. Jolly good. Any questions, anybody? Or comments?
Now that Yvonne mentioned roses, there was something to do with that experience yesterday of this sort of going into the...
I thought there might be.
The infinite. That was something to do with shape of the rose, that's sort of spiralling something like that.
Layer after layer after layer.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, infinitely.
Mm.
Yes, well, when you get into the centre of that, you start looking out towards its extremities, and you see a different world.
Mm. Okay.
It doesn't see the outer manifestation. All it sees is a perimeter. In these terms of quality, that's not quite because from that point there is no solid. Okay. So that's looking in outwardly from those points, if you're able to do that. Then you find that all you're looking at is facets of yourself, reflections of yourself, which in many ways the world is doing here now, in a different way. It's reflecting your moods. Whether it be to grasp out, to be averse to, be angry or what, you're sharing those things. The same way, this is when you get into that point, you see that that's reflecting back what I am. That's reflecting back. It's all me. It's I am that, and this is all my reflections. That's all. But it's not me as a separate entity anymore, but one as the whole of me.
Okay.
You see, this is where we see we're so bound up with identity and interplay between identities, as you might say, that we miss out on the area that matters most to us, surprising, which is feeling. An underlying feeling. You feel at home with this one or the other. Don't be careful about that one. Because you're looking at the surface level. When you look at it in depth, then you find you're attuned to it. Is it not so? And it doesn't be a person, it be a cat, a dog, a horse, a cow, or whatever it is, it's the same thing, or even a plant. Yeah, that same thing and that feeling is there, that sort of concern for its well-being. Which is looking concerning for your own at the same time. How can you not be? So we are connected in that aspect of feeling all the time, and this is the consciousness area. The one in thought is the unconsciousness area, which is the delusion. Because it's so apparently real to us that we can't see the other. That's the trouble. We've been taught to look at this as the reality. But where do these other feelings come from? Well, when you look at the very nature of the world, me. I'm going to survive and do well. It doesn't matter about you, me. And fight for it if necessary, put others down in the process. Is that true? I, as an entity, am the most important thing in the world to myself. Is that true or false? It is, isn't it? Everybody sees themselves as the most important.
There's only one, that's why.
Now that's the nature of the world, you see. And you do everything in desperation to maintain that. Where then do things about concerning others, the welfare of others, come in? In front of your own. Where did that come from? It's not the part of the world, is it? It's a different aspect altogether. Loving, caring, nurturing. It's not part of this world at all. How is it possible we can appreciate these things and experience them? But when you look, where do I experience these feelings? Is it truly in the body, or is it something not quite the body? Now there's a point, Paul, isn't there? How do you feel about your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your daughter, your child, your cat, your dog? How do you feel about it? And it means something, doesn't it? Is it truly the body feeling? It's not, is it? So the consciousness in this aspect, which is seeing things in this attitude, are not physical. Because the physical one is, oh no, I'm here, oh you. Now strangely, and this is the strange part, because that's not the body doing it. This is thought emotion, and that's not physical altogether either. Strangely. Because, and here's the very strange part about it all, that consciousness that allows you to feel and care, and the body can't be separated. The body responds immediately to what is there, consciously. That's a strange one, isn't it? But the body. But thought can be totally abstract and different. And emotions can be different. And that's the bit we're stuck with, thought, emotion. That's where the clinging lies. The body doesn't fade or anything. It's perfectly neutral. It's merely conscious, an aspect of consciousness in here. And you can prove this. You ride a bike or drive a car, the same thing applies. So many times you see it. There's a pothole there. You're not thinking about it, you just... Consciousness does it for you. Body responding to consciousness. If you're thinking about it, you're overcompensating. Isn't it not true? So consciousness and the body act together as one. If it goes through thought, then it's a problem. It can't deal with the immediate. It can deal with things which are not immediate. And yet it's the immediate that things are done consciously. That's where you have to go back to being here in the moment now, to be fully conscious. Because when we talk about it, it's already gone. You can't think now. You think was, or will be, but not now. There's only experience now. When you think about it, it's gone, it's history. So consciousness exists in the moment, but not in retrospect. The other things ponder, aren't they? And we assume that because we can identify and see things changing, which they do, then this is consciousness. It isn't. It's delusion. The reality lies in the gut feelings rather than in the thinking. Goodness gracious me. Any comments, Russel? Any queries?
The problem seems to me, or my problem was, misidentification.
That is the problem. To identify anything out there is to identify this as being separate.
Yeah, that's right. That's the mistake I kept making.
And it's not true. Because even that table, a thing like that, inanimate object, or something similar to it, a table, a chair, a carpet, whatever, it's a part of your living experience, is it not? Is it?
can't answer that.
You use them all the time, don't you? You sit at the table, you have your meals. You never appreciate the table for being there or the chair for sitting there instead of being on the floor and having it on your knee.
No, I have to kick him.
But it's part of your experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's part of your experience, is it wholly separate from you?
That can't be.
Objectively, yes, I will agree with that. But within my experience, it's a very necessary part. Be lost without it, wouldn't I? Or you? Little things like that. In the same way, now this is other people. Somebody is deeply troubled at the doldrums. Do you not feel that in yourself? When you're in their proximity?
I don't feel as much as I used to do.
No, but you do feel it, even so. And so you should. If you ignore it, there's something wrong with you.
I look at it, and if I can't do anything about it, I leave it.
That's right, exactly. You leave it be. That's right. That's as you should. That's right. Perfectly right. If you can't do anything about it, help it in any way, leave it be. That's right. But there's mechanism. But you do feel these things the same way. Somebody who's more elated, you begin to feel the elation with them, do you not?
Yeah, that's the initial reaction, yeah.
As they say, laugh and the world laughs with you. Cry and you cry alone. No, you cry with them. Not true? It's hard with people who are sad. You're happy with people who are happy. And you can't do anything about it because you're sharing that quality of being. That's what we want to recognise. It doesn't matter who or what they are. But it's that quality you're sharing all the time. If we're sharing this all the time, are we so very much separate other than physically? In our feelings, we're all one. Is that not true? It is, isn't it? I mean, even now in this room, many of us don't know everybody else. And yet we can be at ease with one another, just like that. We're not concerned about thoughts and ideas. We're not concerned with politics or religion or anything like that, or any of those sort of things at all. We're just concerned with feeling at ease with one another. Is that true? And there we have something completeness. Whose is it? Yours or mine? Or is it shared? Probably. It's a quality of being, isn't it? If I exist in that quality, why am I at odds with things in another way by thinking? Don't need to be at odds in any way. And this includes other forms of life that don't even think. You can be at ease in the garden, in the woods, with trees around you, things. You feel at ease with them. And you sense feel that they're living entities the same as you are. Which they are. There's consciousness in them all. They don't have to think to be conscious. It's the natural state. They've arisen and they're the manifestation of that very consciousness. That's how they know. That's why they respond to us. That they talk to plants. They do respond. People who say this, they're not oddies at all. They're more on a level plane of realising that their vibes in talking is caring, loving, and they pick that up and it makes them blossom in that sense, gives them a better life. They pick it up because there's no argument about it, no thought. They're fortunate. But if a misery got and couldn't care less, they wither.
Water's a good one, isn't it? What they're doing, their experiments with water, that Japanese guy.
Exactly,
Really
exactly.
We're demonstrating
Things that don't think can respond much more easily than things that do. That's our problem. We think along different lines altogether, with their odds with our feelings. We do have duality, you and me, yes, to that degree. But everyone has another duality Your feelings down here and your thoughts up there. They're always at odds. Here down here is to nurture and be careful with the love. And up here, hate it and bugger it, get rid of it. Is it not so? Or got to change it? Doesn't need to, just accept and care for it. That's where it will come. We cannot change the nature of our own beings in any way at all, because they're all linked to everybody else. Everybody's linked to everybody else in that fashion of feeling, caring. And where thought, ideas and emotions come into it, it begins to distort it a bit, yes. And then we go for the head instead of the heart, as you might say. To others. Because we break communication. All the while we can feel that we're tuned to people, we can communicate with them on a state of well-being. But when we communicate from the head, it's usually not very much well-being at all. I want something from you, I'm going to take something from you, I'm going to use you. And true? So the head is the problem, not the basic feelings, but then we have a war. This trying to be. We've been taught over a long, long time to give more credence to thought than anything else. And that's where we've gone wrong. We're out of balance. There's no leveling, as you might say. Leveling. Leveling with what? Wisdom. Where does wisdom come from? Love and kindness. Nurturing. Amazing, isn't it? Because it does it without thought or ideas, but only for the well-being of all, not just itself. Now that is wisdom. But it's selfish, it's not really very wise, because we ignore many things which don't give us the happiness we require. We try to grab our own happiness. You can't. The only way you'll ever get it is by giving it away. Bit of a joke, isn't it? Whatever quality you want in life, give it, broadcast it out there into the world. Then you'll have it. It's a bit of a joke, isn't it? Not easy. This is one of the things you see, and you can see it's very obvious. People demand respect. You've seen them all around. Demand respect. The very basic way, the reaction to that is, you don't deserve it. Is it not true? You have to give it to get it. Give respect, you get respect. Give anger, you get anger. Give care, you get care. The qualities that you expand out there, it's like this bulb here. It can only do two things actually. It gives light and a little bit of heat. The heat being negative, which is the light that's the important part. And it spreads all around. This is the same. It can become incandescent with any of these feelings. See red, really red, real anger. How long before everyone's anger? Irritability, so on. And if you're distaste, pick it up. Because trouble is, we have no control over these things. They keep changing. But we still share them all the time. Every one of you was angry at some point in the last week. Was it yours, or did you pick it up from somebody else? Good point, And you carried it for a little while, giving it to other people at the same time. Be honest about it. Get rid of it. You couldn't care less attitude. It all goes, it's all part and parcel of the job, you see, this sharing. And we don't have any control over it. But we don't realise that if we did control it a little bit, it wouldn't be there. You can take control of a machine by learning how to stop it, adjust its speed. You can do the same with this. Recognise that when you, in any of these emotive states, regardless of whether they're good or bad or indifferent, you cannot reflect on anything and to see whether it's good, bad or indifferent. You don't know. You're just stuck with it. But when you can be quiet for a little while, then you can reflect on what was and its possibilities. Now, is that not a better place to be? Here you can assess things because you're not being motivated by any of these motivated aspects. Now, suppose you were to anchor yourself there in that point. You notice that you're in the presence of somebody who's angry. Do you have to pick it up? Oh no, just stay here and be out and just watch it. It won't come in. The same with things that harmful in the other ways. Don't need it. I'm quite content with it. Leave it be. I don't need to change. How can it say and be there? Have a think about it. Is it not possible? Have you no willpower? This is what you need a little bit. Willpower to prevent me doing these things, not willfully doing them, the will not to do. It's no stronger than you are, remember. It's just that you've allowed it to happen. Why allow these things to happen at random? And it's your life. You're experiencing it. And it's taking away your own happiness at the same time. You could be reasonably contented. Permanently. A whole your life. If you want. For not taking these vibes on. Not easy, I grant you, because it's so easy to let them in and then become them. Because, unfortunately, and this is the unfortunate part about it, the more motivated or steamed up I get, the more I feel I am. I'm now somebody. But when I'm here in this quietude, I'm not a somebody at all. I'm just a cultivating thing. So I'm not aware of myself anymore. That's the price of being not myself anymore. I'm a self if I'm perversive, I'm grasping, irritated, jealous, all these things. Hating, all these I'm somebody. I'm separate from all of you. But I'm still quiet. I'm sure you are. You're not separate from me. I've got a richer world of love. Do I have to go on these motivated journeys? No. No, not to be. How do we overcome all these things? That's a good question. But a simple one. we keep on trying to establish a self by all of these things. That's why we welcome them, because it proves I'm a somebody, if only to myself. A strong, resistible, powerful I am as an entity. When you're able to quietly look at things and there's nobody there. Do I really exist? Do I want to exist in perpetual suffering? Or do I want to exist as a nobody? A nobody. In accord with everything else. So I get an expansion instead of a contraction. While I'm a separate thing, a little bit, and then in a huge world. Oh no, quiet. Hold on. I'm all of the world, not just a bit of it. Which do you prefer? Little point for me. How? Learn to accept everything. Good, bad, and indifferent. Deal with the conditions that support it. Because it will only be temporary anyway. It won't last. Whatever situation arises, it will soon pass. Because in all situations that arise, one of its conditions is time, and time is constantly moving on. Therefore it must change, it cannot not. Even if it just ages, it changes. Point upon that. So accept it, leave it be, don't do anything about it. Let it pass. Most of the things we try to get done today, leave it a couple of days, you're probably not there anymore, it's disappeared. Doesn't need dealing. We're too much of a rush to get things done. With many things which don't need dealing with, they deal with themselves anyway. It's just a time factor, that's all. They're momentary, flips. It's just like the weather changes, you know. The sun comes out, the cloud moves out, you get dark, light, dark, light. Just things. They're changing all the time. They exist now, they don't exist then. This always is. Accept that. The same as when it meets these conditions, it'll pass, leave it be. And it will. This way you know. And if you look to yourself, when you're in these situations and remember them, you're all screwed up when you get angry, and you get screwed up if you've got distaste or hatred. You get screwed up in here, it's not comfortable. The only time it's comfortable when you're at ease. True? No. Everybody else is the same, precisely. Only to different degrees, that's all. So everybody is suffering these things. Now look at it in that light. I'm not suffering, I manage to evaluate and see these things. Okay, that's fine. So you can be. But look on everybody else as suffering, as you did yourself. Then you can begin to care for their condition. And realize that they're open to all these things. They're also open to your steadiness. And then you're caring for them. It helps them to be absorbed in this bit. So it helps them to cool down. So accept these things and be them for what they are. With caring for them. Now we're using this area. Nurturing, caring for the well-being of all those. And I maintain my caring within myself. Just like that. In Eastern we call it metta. Metta, loving kindness. That's what caring is, loving kindness, is it not? Practice it to all. Because they're suffering as you were. When you begin to give this aspect up, accepting them for what they are, unfortunately unable perhaps to change themselves. But if you go and steady yourself, those around you will gradually pick up a bit of that steadiness, and it will help them to see things more clearly too. And if you can maintain that, they'll begin to build it up and they'll become free too. Point to ponder. That's the way to go. Learn to care, love for all out there. And you find you've got the qualities of here, because you can draw it from the spatial element itself, and there's a wonderful lot of it out there. Inexhaustible supply. But do not try to make it for yourself, because you'll shut the supply right away, and then nobody will get it. Put it out, and you'll share it in the giving. Quite Scott. That's the way to do it. Learn to care for anything and everybody. It's only a bit of wood. Hand it gently, carefully. It's good practice. You don't need to care for everything. But nobody else knows that I'm caring for that. It's only me, and that knows that. But it's good practice because it helps me then to maintain it for you people. In the same way, as a tradesperson, put it that way, they have chosen skillless, very carpentry, woodwork, metalwork, bread making, or cheese making, whatever it may be. They learn to give their full attention to what they're doing and caring for the product that they're creating. They care for the quality of that product. So they're giving care away. That's why they have care again. It's constant. Trying to do the best they can for all these things. And it reflects. You take an artisan-made table rather than a factory-made job like that, and you see there's a difference. Somebody has really done it with his own hands. Has built himself into that. And its quality remains long after he's dead. In his creation, he's left a bit of himself in it. He's loving, kind, he's caring. That's why we look after antiques, because they've got those things built in. And it reflects. That's why. Perhaps you don't know why. You think it's old. No, it's not good. Because it was done with care and attention. And that care and attention is still there. And it reflects too. That's what makes it an antique. Interesting. So there's a different way of looking at things, isn't there? And when you analyse, you think, well, there is something in that, isn't there? The past one built something and something was chucked together, totally different, isn't it? You need to look at these things. You know, it's the attitude you put into things, is what, and it remains there in whatever you do. It can be passed on from generation to generation. That's why you can go into some houses and don't want to stay in here. Another one, oh yes, I love this one, I feel welcome. Because it's built into the fabric, the quality of the people that were living in it. So it does. So the vibes we give out are the most important thing, not the thinking identity anymore. The quality of being that we give. For the well-being of this, well-being of that, well-being. There we can be at home with one another. You don't be arguing all the time. Or you get little screwed up. But when you're open up, you blossom. You absorb everything. You absorb the quality of everything. And there's nothing that isn't wholly satisfactory. Little things to bond down. That's right. I'm merely pointing things out that are already there. I'm not trying to create anything. That would be impossible. So, any questions, any points, any ponders, any comments at all? Tell me I'm wrong,
Yes, it's interesting how you talk about the feelings and the caring aspect, whereas I've tended to just become aware of objects now and that I'm not them.
Yes, to a degree you're separating yourself from everything, but I don't want you.
Out.
I don't want that. I want you to experience all of this.
I'm
And
separating
you can
myself
only do it by what you give, not what you take. You're taking yourself away. Give yourself to, in the same way as you brought it, bring it all into your life. That's where the richness of life comes. The sharing of all things, not the separation. Because you're getting a quality here of separation, and you're not really at home with it. But when you feel at ease with it all, then you see. This is where the love, the caring, the kindness is coming. It's got to be put out there in order for you to withdraw it from the universe itself, through you, and that's how you experience it. The universe is there, it's the creating aspect. Trouble is we use it the wrong way. We create it for selfishness, not for the general good of everything. We are part of everything. We're part of the cogs in the wheel of the world. It's like any clock, as you might say. Take one clock or a little cog out and the thing ceases. Put yourself right, everybody suffers for it. Put yourself right in, then you work together. No, I don't speak on that. To care for one another. This is the immediate aspect that is so utterly necessary all the time.
But in terms of that quality that we give out,
the point about this, the quality that we give out, initially it's an idea, not much of quality at all. But like everything else, when you use it, it gets stronger.
Okay.
And it becomes this and that. Just think kindly for a starter is something. And through that kindness you begin to care a little more for the object you're being kind to. And then after a while, you know, I couldn't do without this in my life. So there's a little loving as well, isn't it? Simple little things like that. It might be an old pair of shoes or something, you know, you used to, that's more comfort than a new pair. So you get an affection for these things. Is it not true?
Yeah. But I mean,
and the same applies with people in the same way. You're going to trust. You don't trust anybody you meet at first. Gradually, you begin to, as their nature begins to reveal themselves to you, you get open up more and more to them until you get communication. But you have to accept them for what they are. Don't try to change them. They are what they are and will be what they are. Accept them and care for them. It's always the same thing, if I don't do this, because they'll take advantage. They won't. In this attitude, people don't, it doesn't happen. Because they'll merely reflect back what you give them. They're like mirrors. That's something beyond their control. Because you're appealing to the depth of the person, not the surface. Deep down in everybody, You've got that loving, nurturing aspect deep down.
Mm.
And there's nobody that hasn't got it. All sentient life has that. There's nothing that doesn't have it. Because that's the source of its whole being.
Mm.
The only difference is that it's become manifest, and in its manifest it's come from an old thing to a something. From a nurturing, caring thing to something that not too good about this and not too happy about it. From loving to hatred.
Mm.
Because it's diametrically opposite to what it was in its origin. And that's why we have it here. Here you nurture with your gut feeling. Up here, don't want to know. But put this to, because we give so much attention, we're taught to give so much attention, thought, idea, even to a point of being brainwashed. We ignore our basic factors of lower down feeling. Only occasionally do we learn to nurture something, because we begin to care. It might be a plant, it might be a cat, it might be a dog, it might be a baby, you care, and therefore you get a little nurturing from it. And that is your basic nature. You've ignored it. All that's required is you give this a little more attention in life. That's all. To learn to share it out there with the toy. Same way you go and water a plant that needs it because it's wiltering a little. Give it a drop of water so it'll begin to spring up again. Cuddle up a little kitten or a puppy, a baby, fellow, dog. Recognise that everybody out there is suffering like places, as you are, or were. You pick up their vibes, you make them your own, and you're not at all happy. You may take a little bit of concealed pride, as you might say, by being very aggressive in some sense and being justifying yourself. But it's all delusion. But it's not easy, it's not happy, it's unhappy. But you identify unhappy. When you're at ease, there's nobody there to be happy. There's contentedness instead. It's a quality all its own, contentedness. It neither requires anything, nor does it want anything to be less. It's everything. But nobody there as an entity. That's the price you pay. To be at peace within yourself is to become selfless. And how do you become selfless? Instead of taking, give. I want to be loved, I want to be happy, I want friends. You want respect. You can't have it unless you give it out there first. Respect, friends, loving, caring. It's there. Just give it, and you'll get it. Initially, quite frankly, you don't know what it is. It's just a thought, an idea. Well, let's give it a try. That's a good idea. And when you do try it as best you can, you try to make it work. And you're going to realise it's not just a thought after all, but there's a feeling behind it. And in that feeling behind it, I'm beginning to feel at ease. And from that feeling, at more ease, give that feeling out, and even more. So the more you give, the more you get. Don't take, but give. Until you get a full flow. And that's it all but the flow of these qualities coming through. Where's self now? You know it's not you. But you know it's the source of your own being, the same as is everybody else. So you're moving into a different dimension altogether. There's a self-knowing. It's not understanding in any way. You couldn't understand it. Because understanding is to do with solidarity, things, manifest things, interplay between manifestations, to fetch, to carry, to give, to take. This is what thought's all about. But you can't give or take this. It's a quality that flows through. All you've done is open the door for it to happen. It's ridiculous. And this becomes a channel for that to happen. That's all. Are you prepared to do that? It's really worthwhile. Has the self given you any pleasure so far? Maybe a minute or two, or 10 minutes. Oh no, I want something else, I want something else, I want something else. It doesn't give you any real pleasure. But this is the lasting one, that you want the whole life. Now there's something worthwhile, isn't there? The whole living life. And those around you into the bargain, which is even better. What more could you wish for? One life's been worthwhile. It's yours. Yeah. Just by being what you are is all that matters. And recognise the truth of that being. We all have these same qualities. It's just that we've ignored them, given little credence, and bring them to the fore. And they'll tear out all the rubbish of your thought and ideas, of this and that. You see them as good. Yes, you'll still be able to think in the world, because you've got to live in the world, because the body is part of the world. And you're stuck with that until it dies. But when it does die, you'll be free. You don't have to come back to the world anymore. You can move on up through the higher areas of consciousness and spirituality, which, truly speaking, consciousness is that very spirit that needs to be re-educated to be what it is, and not something false. To some degree, religions were correct to in their day and time. The consciousness has blossomed still further from there, so they're left behind the teachings. We have to recognise them directly now, not be taught about them, but see them within ourselves, the quality of that being. Because that's the only place you'll ever find them now. You won't find them in any teachings anymore. I can't give it to you. Nobody can. We can perhaps guide you in your seeking within yourself. And if you follow these instructions, it's very likely you'll come to see for yourself. If you tried many other ways, they don't work. Try this way, see if it does. But give it a real good chance. Don't see it half-heartedly, for wholeheartedly. Then it will work. That's our guarantee. To learn to care for the quality of everything around you. Be it animate as people, or animals, or ordinary day-to-day things like this cup, or that bit of water. Care for it, nurture it. And everything you do. These hands, fingers, can teach you far more than any thought and idea. Yes. They know precisely how to meet anything other than themselves. Hey, take a feather hand and feel it. And when it begins to feel the nature of what it is, put it down. It will know the nature of what it is. You could take a day-old chicken and hold it in your hand. You'll probably go to sleep because it's so comfortable. Because there's no harm there. It's just caring. All it wants to know is the nature of what it's holding. Same with that. If you bash it around, you won't know the nature. Or you get to bruise it. But handle it gently. If your hand holds anything quietly and gently for a little while, and you take your sight away from it altogether, and just feel the experience, is there any separateness, or is it and what it is feeling the same? There's a bit to play with. Most of you, I'm quite sure, at some time in your lives, have had some young creature, maybe a baby, a cat or a dog, on here. Yes? Recall such a moment. It's nice, that warmth of that little body against your body warmth. That's the thing you notice most of all. But tell me, apart from your sight in the experience, can you ever tell where you leave off when the animal begins or the other body does? Or are they just one? That's the nature of coming together. In that moment there's a co-joining. It's just sight, oh that's different shape to me and that's different small, that's not me. But without sight, feeling, can you really tell? Have a look at it. Things like that. Alright, so you hug somebody. One point in that hugging, momentarily, there's no division. For a moment we are together, and that is the moment that really matters. There's no separation. That moment of is that true? Trouble is, it's something you do recognise, then try to make something of, but you can't. It's so elusive, you've lost it. That's why a good handshake, a good firm handshake with anybody will tell you the whole nature. Whether you can trust them or not trust them. Whether kindly or gently or whether they're rough and tough. It's all there. That one little handshake just like that. Is it true?
Yeah, but people know how to.
I don't mean one of these. I mean a good hearty one.
People know how to fake things.
An old-fashioned one. And it tells you a lot about the character, doesn't it? They're all in feeling. There is a co-joining, so a lot merely passes in these touching moments, as you might say. A lot of information that we're so busy thinking we miss out on. Touching, feeling, and deeper down, without touching, a feeling across the room. You can pick up anybody's quality, just like that. Qualities they don't even know exist within themselves, more often than not, because you can meet them in their depth, not in their surface. You never know how or what they think. We don't want to know. That's individual. Don't need it. You want to know the quality beneath it. That's the bit that matters most of all, and that you can always contact if you know what you're looking for. It's always there, and you can't hide it. It's not whatever. That's the bit we can get joined up to. Deeper inner feelings, which is the nurturing, the caring, the loving. If you've got it here, you've got it there, I can see it. You know it. Just like that. Don't need telling, because you can experience it for yourself. Examine these things and see if they're not true. This is what life's all about. See, it's already there. We don't have to create anything. It's already there. But unfortunately, since we've ignored it for so long, it's rather weak. But no matter how weak it is, it's still there. All it needs is a little attention to make it grow, and bigger and bigger. And as it does, it will alter the way you think even. Because where there's been so much selfish and not too much caring about there, now we'll begin to care about there. And if the thoughts will be of those natures, caring rather than being averse, that would is uplifting this. So that this equates, your feelings equate with your thinking. That's possible. Now you've got a letting play field. What thinks as is caring, nurturing, here. A lot of the hatred and stuff got to disappear. There. It's cancelled out. Then gradually, as we become used to this equation, as you might say, then we begin to get a little wisdom in our lives. You don't want that. But from within, not from any need from without. And you find it becomes easy to care for things. Very easy indeed. And to recognise it. There's so much ignorance in the world, not clever, and there's cleverness, yes, which is counted as intelligence. And people are persuaded that that is intelligence. It's not. It's just cleverness. And you can see the difference. The immediate, caring, loving kindnesses, that is where you begin to find wisdom lives, not muddled thinking. So it's as much a feeling as it is a thinking, going together. And that therefore can then be more creative in the world than anything else, rather than destruction. I'm going to stop for a little while now. Can we have a little refreshment of some sort now, do you think? Can we, one or two volunteers, can we find? I'm sure we can. That's the idea. Thank you. Darren needs 1 or 2 or 3 and that will cover the cold ground. In the meantime, folks who are sitting left behind, just talk to one another. Talk to your neighbours. Exchange views. Exchange views. That's right. That's right. Take yourself up for a little while. Give yourself a little rest. Well, you've all been talking to one another now for a little while. Are there any insights arising from that? Things appreciated? No? No? Amazing how it all closed down, isn't it?
I was talking to Yvonne at the beginning of the break, just to do with the
oh yeah,
the experience that
yes,
we've
of course,
both
yeah.
had, and something else came up to do with the experience that I had was to do with the question was like things have a shape, but what shape is life?
You can't, there isn't one, is there? Shall we say things as shapes rather amorphous, more jellified than having a proper shape?
Yeah.
So it could be almost any shape at all. That's right. It doesn't manifest into any particular mould. But it does have qualities though, doesn't it? Can you identify those? Not easy, is it?
Not easy.
No. But you do know them. Like I've tried to explain before, in ordinary everyday life, every one of us have people around, maybe creatures, animals, whatever, and we love them all equally. Would you agree with that? Equally. No. Within that equalness, male or female, doesn't make any difference. Animal or human, whatever, doesn't really make much difference. But within these, each individual has a particular sort of nuance within the general norm. It's like Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane, Josh, whatever it may be, given like a name, but it's a feeling. That when you bring to mind anyone who has that particular feeling, though it doesn't make them superior in any way to any of the others, there's still this even love all round, and yet with these individual little nuances of identity. Now, this is where we begin to appreciate the fact that feelings have inner feelings, and each of those also has inner feelings. So we go into different dimensions. So in that sense, when we learn the finesse of these feelings as such, it's almost as though it's a language of its own that can appreciate. Not appreciate, but not understand. There's a big difference there. So that as we become more familiar with these things, and these little nuances, it takes you into deeper depths within the own nature, but higher steps in consciousness, in spirit. Does that make sense? The deeper you go within here, the higher you go out in the spirit sense. And it is through recognizing these little bits and pieces, as you might call them, that we begin to find we don't have to look for anything. It's already there. And if we quietly dwell on it, it will show us itself what it is. And this, truly speaking, what contemplation is about. Merely to know what is going on in the moment of it happening. Not to push for anything in any way at all, but allow yourself to see it and know it by experiencing in the moment and then passing on. Does that make sense? So it's quite a journey in actual fact. When we think we've got it all, we finally find there's another doorway into another dimension. We have to start all over again. So it's learning, as you might say. But mainly by experiencing. And of course, you've no idea where you're going or what you're going to find. But you have to be prepared for that and leave be. All you need to know is it's not done you any harm whatsoever, but if anything, reduce the harm you already had. But now that's sufficient to know about, isn't it? It doesn't hurt so much anymore, therefore I must be on the right track. Do you see what I mean? But you still don't know where you're going. And gradually, as these things begin to come together, it's like a jigsaw piece coming together, and it's, oh, there's the whole picture. And you realise you are the whole picture. You're not separate from it anymore. It's like your rules in your rules presentation. You go gradually into the middle, and when you're in the middle you look out. Then you don't see any construction particularly, really shape and form. No erosion. Qualities in that sense rather than actuality. So it's a very, very subtle aspect altogether. Very subtle. We can't make ourselves do it. We have to learn to let it be and let it show. Because consciousness itself is like everything else, it's cyclical. There's nothing in the whole universe that isn't cyclical. But consciousness has now reached its furthest away from its true nature, so it's going to return back to its true nature. So it knows what it's doing, it knows where it's going. All we're doing is muddling the water. If we just lay back and let it be, it will find its way much more quickly. If we try to understand it, we're hindering it. Just let it be, and you find you can be at peace in the being. And gradually, in that peace, you begin to realize, oh, something else shows itself. That's it. Little bits of insight of eyes, as and when. And you think you're going back because it's all going to start and you're not doing anything. That's what you're supposed to be doing, nothing. The beauty of the whole thing is, and this is the very thing, it's beyond understanding. We have to appreciate the emptiness at source is really what we're looking for. Emptiness, not fullness. That emptiness will become full, but not by our making. As long as we can dwell there in that emptiness and be aware of the great expanse of space, that space will fill the emptiness and it will be fulfilled. Now that's a bit of a joke, isn't it? Space is emptiness, and yet this emptiness within, and that coming together gives you fulfillment. That's why you can't understand it. But it's there, isn't it? That's where the quality is we recognise when the two come together. So it's not things, you don't know thinking about things, because that's all you can think about is things. But no things at all. And be conscious of no thing. And then gradually the space just enters into that. Bit of a joke, isn't it? That's the best way I can explain it for you. You see, to be at best is to do nothing. That includes thinking and being emotionally involved, because that is tension. Just complete relaxation through all aspects. Then it can absorb, but all the while there's tension, it can't absorb. It's like a sponge being squeezed in your hand, it can't take in any water. But when you open it out, it can absorb more than its own weight. Now this body's going to be the same thing. When it's completely, utterly relaxed, all things will come in. You see, when the mind is empty, the emotions are not there to drive it, then it's absorbed. And see, by absorption it becomes what it's absorbed. And it can only absorb one thing, the nature of its own being. Interesting, isn't it? The nature of its own being is the only thing it can be absorbed. Consciousness in its own right, in other words, which is spiritual, not physical. We're too bound up with the physical. They don't give us any attention. In fact, we have no idea what spirituality is, because it's apparent no thing. And yet no thing is in actual fact where any form of intelligence exists. It's where any form of understanding, even in mundane terms, lives. If you feel comfortable with it, you understand. If you don't feel comfortable, you can't understand. So even in thinking, you can't even understand mundane things unless you feel at ease. It's a joke, isn't it? But feeling takes its part. You say emotion, it's not emotional feeling, it's beyond that. It's a deeper feeling, you speak of caring, and caring is connecting, not being apart. And by connecting, we begin to see the nature of whatever. That's where understanding lives, in connecting, not being disjointed. So it's everything is about connecting with what? Feeling at ease with one another. It's the only thing we can truly share properly as one. All else we see in opposition. Is it not? So there's an importance to this apparent no thing, emptying, because it brings everything together. to recognise it. Because it's the only time you can ever feel comfortable, even within yourself, this one body. Unless your top and the bottom come together, you're not at ease. Because this is wanting to love and this is wanting to hate. When the two come together, then things are okay. And when you do this in here, then you get it out there. The whole world is a reflection of what is in here. That's all. It isn't the world pressure on me that makes me, it's me, my pressure on the world that makes things go on. When I live attuned to it all, everything comes together. It's that simple, honestly. But you have to suck it and see. It's like the lemon or the orange. Until you taste it, you don't know what the flavour's about. But you really got to take it in to do that. It's no good looking at it. You won't know the flavour anyway by looking at it. You've got to taste it. So you've got to experience these things in order to know them, not to think about them. All you have to do is push it inside. It's being uninteresting. And yes, it's the most interesting thing in the world. The very nature of your own being. It was when you were in the world, it's the same as when you're out of it. That which is the most important thing. But that which is not necessary, it's simple. That's different. The one thing everybody seeks is to be cared for. A little respect and caring goes an awful long way. Only snag is you can't have it unless you give it. That's why people demand respect. All they get is contempt. Is that true?
Mm.
You can't demand it. You've got to give it, then you get it. By giving the quality away, you get that quality, but then learn that as a basic lesson. Because this is what it's all about. All the while I'm at odds with the world's going to be at odds with me. And all while everything is at odds, we cannot achieve anything. But when we can be in accord, then we can open doors into other areas, as well as amongst ourselves. There's a little bit biblical here. It's a bit Bible in Buddhism. Yes, it's very useful at times. They can explain things which aren't otherwise explainable. When two or three sort of trees are gathered together in accord, then I will be there. This is the spirit itself. And when we can get a whole group of us together there, we can be in accord. We can feel so much at peace with one another and care for one another. Then the quality of feeling within is magnified by that which descends from a higher area. In Christianity they have what they call a service of Holy Communion. I've never seen it work yet. It's merely a platitude of words and separate people, never wholly coming together. And here you've got it, now. Because we've accepted one another outside, we're living as a group consciousness, not a separate soul. This is the thing, that is the Holy Communion, because it's whole within itself, and therefore opens the door to the higher ourselves of the Spirit itself. Everything's wonder. You see, it's qualities that matter, not thoughts and ideas. the quality of being, utterly peaceful and restful until it reaches the highest levels. Tightness and heaviness, it can't go anywhere, it's too heavy. There's no buoyancy. And it's individual. When we're open to receive as one, a group as one, then you have that co-joining, which allows this to be co-joining here, co-joining there, because it's in spirit and not in physicality. When we look at consciousness, we can equate it with an iceberg. The bit you see above the surface as the iceberg, that's the bit we show on the surface of the earth. The bit that's beneath the water of an iceberg is about 9/10, much more huge than the bit above. Now the same applies with consciousness. That little bit here, but a massive amount through the other spheres of existence. And it is through those living that aspect of consciousness, living in those other spheres, is able to transmit a little bit back to this little bit stuck here on earth. That's why we can have caring and love. Why is it only such a tiny bit here? Because we've ignored it. It's got even smaller. To a little bit down here, little gut feeling, every now and then it pokes itself up and gets ignored again. When you meet situations, the gut says do this and the head says do something else, and you do. Many times you do it and say, I know I should have done better, but you don't notice, you don't learn. Consequently, that little bit that's appearing over the surface is diminished rather than expanded. Give it more attention, let it expand a bit, and it will bring the qualities from the outer hours into the inner. The inner being this world. It's a tiny, little, massive, clenched up thing, like a cricket ball, heart. But this feeling can come from within and expand it outwards, so it can absorb these greater feelings. The more open it can become, the more it can absorb these qualities of being, which are not wholly physical. And that is how we can realize the nature of our own true consciousness. By that expression of caring, loving, nurturing. The Buddha says, ultimately, there is only becoming. It is that nurturing, the becoming. That is the nature of being. It's becoming. It never is anything. It's still moving on. Like everything is moving, it's evolving. Evolving back to its true nature. The wholeness of things instead of the separateness of things, the fragmentation. All we know is fragmentation here. That's what we yearn for, is to be so close together with one another that we lose the fragmentation, but we can't because we're separate bodies, they don't join. But we can do it in feeling, by learning to care for one another, and that quality emerges, and we find we do co-join in peace. Not in excitement, but in peace. That's the one thing we can share on a permanent basis, because it is unconditioned. All the rest are conditions and therefore impermanent, because time is always one of them, but this is timeless. Hence, as the Buddha said, we reach the deathless. Why the deathless? Because the consciousness was never born in the first place. It was laid behind all this manifestation. Here's a point on there we have it. In a nutshell, as you might say. Not to be thought about so much as look into your own experience and pondering those. Now there's a good word, pondering. Just looking at the qualities, recognising the qualities that are already there. They may emerge only now and then, but ponder them when they do. And you'll bring them alive. Not just as concepts and ideas, but in actual experience. And pondering isn't thinking or recognising, it's just watching and waiting to appreciate the fullness of the quality of the being. What does it mean? Any thoughts or ideas arising? No.
Russell?
Yes.
Did you say that consciousness has gone very far away from its true nature? Or it's
as far out as it can get in this world.
Why has that
It's
happened?
like the moon as it goes, it's got a wire and it comes closer and it goes farther out and then it comes back again. So it's cyclical in that sense. It started from nothing, it's become a something and it's going back to nothing.
Mm. Why does it allow that then? Because of
It's
going
a question,
so far away from...
It's a question of recognising itself. A bit of a joke this, isn't it? The old Indian Upanishads, they talk many times over the in-breath and out-breath. In every out-breath it creates the universe. On an in-breath it takes it back in again. There's a lot to be said for that. I don't know if the ancients knew far a bit more about these things than we do today. But they were very, very close. But can you imagine, this happens to everybody every morning when they wake up. Just momentarily when they wake up from sleep, they have to establish their identity. Is that true? It is, isn't it?
Mm.
So you got to grab the world on, oh yes, I'm alive. Now, this has been asleep, this spirit, from a time we can't imagine. We're talking in billions of years in outer things we can't imagine. In fact, I think it was described once. A kalpa. If you can think of a big rock, a mile cube, and every 100 years a little bird comes along with a silk scarf and draws it across. By the time that rock has been worn away, there's a kalpa. This is the period of sleep. Now when it wakes up from that, there's nothing there. Nothing to be seen. It's like waking up in the middle of the night and there's no light. It's dark, nothing there. Am I alive or am I not? Am I somebody or am I not? Who am I? And it's what it manifests something out there. It's got a duality now. Now it knows I've created that, so I know it's not real. but because I can see it, it's not me. So it creates a whole lot of things. Not me, not me, not me, not me, not me, not me. And eventually it realizes, I'm the one that knows. That's my identity. I'm the one that knows. All this is rubbish. So it can let it go now. It can go back to sleep again. Establish its identity. Is that not the question we all ask? Who am I? What am I? The ultimate question is a who, not a what. And when we realise it's a what rather than a who, then we get somewhere. Is that anything like it? I don't know. It's a guess. Something to play with. Look, the one thing we do know, or when we can appreciate rather than know completely, and that is of modern day, with the huge telescopes that look way out into space, we begin to see the first emanation of anything substantial that comes out of the emptiness, and that is gas clouds. Gas clouds beginning to form until they get so big and heavy they explode and form stars. With all the accoutrements that go with. Now that's something we can observe, and it has been done, and so we see that this is the basis from which all things come, from the emptiness of space. So therefore, in that sense, they're empty at heart. Anything that is empty at heart, because that is the core of its being. Now, when we've evolved to where we are today, since consciousness has brought all this thing about in some mysterious fashion, that consciousness still has its nature within everything that's been created. It's not wholly separate, but it's still there. Even that's why the delusion carries the truth. This is the delusion, and the truth is within it. That is the consciousness. You see? So we look to see who and what we are as entities separate, but we're not truly. We're repeating the question of the origin. What am I? Who am I? You see? And when we come to look, the nearest we can get to its origin is a gas. And when we look to our own nature, we find we are nothing less than that ourselves. So we're not so far removed after all. Gas, air, keeps us alive. But what's it keeping alive? Further gases. The body's supposed to be 98% water. What's water? H2O, two gases. Yeah. So air keeps the other air alive. Where's the self? All you've got is a delusion which is manifest. And that's the thing we cling to and say, this is the reality. It's a delusion. Never did. And when you come to look at your own experience, and this is where you're going to find it, it isn't what you think which is all to do with the world. You can't think things other than the world which is manifest. You may kid yourself you do, but it's the illusion. But it matters far more how you feel, not emotionally, but deep down. Do you not agree? Where in the body is that feeling, or is it in there or out there as well? Is there any organ which feels it? No. And when you really feel, do you really feel in here or out there as well? There you see. Which am I? Am I this body? No, I'm not. In consciousness, when I think, yes, I kid myself, this is what I am. But thought is mere process. This is why. When the only time you notice it's a thought at all, or have any credence, is when something really bugs you. And you can't really appreciate it, otherwise it just rambles on. Just lets it go and you don't even notice it, it's just so commonplace. But when you think there's something that's bugging you and you know, it's though there's two of you, one that's thinking and one that's watching. And you look at the two natures. The one that's thinking is very confused and the one that's watching is very clear. That is consciousness, the clarity. The thinking is the muddle, it's the ignorant, delusion. Here you can have a choice for the first time when you notice that there's something that's bugging you. By looking, what's the nature of that which is looking? And you say, it's serene, uncontrolled. That is consciousness. So if you are then the serenity and the consciousness, who's doing the thinking? Or is it just happening? And you find it's because grasping at this situation or that situation or another situation, and concepts it already holds, and mix them up and you create a new world. So it's formless. And we've been taught and brainwashed into having concepts and ideas of this, that, and something else as being fixtures. They're not. There never are any fixtures. Because everything is moving along, changing. And all thought, the only thing that doesn't change is the consciousness. It always changes the true nature, which is stillness, empty. Doesn't be concerned. If it could think, it would be saying, what the hell's all this about? Do we really need it? It doesn't. It just leaves it be. It's just knowing full well that in due time it will all come home anyway. It knows that already. But it can come quicker if we let it. Don't try to get in the way. We've reached a point now where, of course, the nature of itself is turned the corner, as you might say, is on its way back home. That's what everybody's seeking. They don't know what they're seeking, but they're seeking something. It's their own true nature. To be returned to the spirit for what it was. It was the bullshit that it got us mixed up with everything else. When it learns to be more quiet, then it can return and be at home. But, and here's the lot, when it returns home, there is no longer any separate entity. Because duality is now ceased. There is only wholeness. Wholeness or fulfillment. Call it what you like. The ones that is here, everything is complete. And the strange thing is, any individual supposedly can achieve that, whilst the remainders remain ignorant of it. In the same way that consciousness being the deathless, that which is manifest, has death, because it doesn't last. The unless manifest can never die. That is consciousness. And it's there already. The deathless is with you. Only your body dies. But even then, truly speaking, if we like to analyse that, there's no such thing as death. That which comes to be will also fall apart. Yes, we'll grant you that. It's like leaves falling from the tree. So it becomes dead over winter and reborn next spring. And the leaves become the earth from which the tree grows. The body also becomes manure. It's like a tree that falls in the forest. It becomes food for many organisms, many little insects and bugs, and also fungi, all sorts of manner of things that rot it down to earth. So it happens to a body too. Even if it's cremated, it becomes potash, which is one of the better things about the manure of the garden. They get good roses that way, with the potash. So you see, so it's not death in it, it's really a change of its nature, that's all. But it still carries the elements of life. So there is no such thing truly as death. It's what we see as death. And that's ignorance. There can't be any death. The consciousness goes one way, the body goes another. So it's, when you come to weigh it up, the world as such is the very thing we've been seeking for many, many years, mechanically, perpetual motion. No matter what we do, it keeps re-establishing itself. That's why all these old civilizations, every now and then we can unearth them. They've been there thousands of years. This one will be the same when this is gone, the forest will grow again, and the world will re-inhabit itself. There is perpetual motion in that respect. It's us that's interfering, that's mucking it up. Bit daft, isn't it? And we consider ourselves intelligent creatures. Clever, yes, but not necessarily intelligent. But we do have that intelligence within us, and the body knows it, because it responds directly to that which is perceived by any of the sense organs. That's what we've got to be brain for, it's not to think with it, it's to coordinate all these aspects. You see a baby in a pram laying back there looking at the dangler up there, and it's looking up there and grabbing over here. It's not learned to coordinate. That's what the first years of life are about, to coordinate these things. And sound. You hear it. That's why you've got 2 eyes and 2 ears, did you know? One eye sees an object, the other one to find the distances where it is. One ear hears whatever it is, and the other one decides which direction it's coming from. Is it? Have a look, see, you try and put the phone to the wrong ear and see. Very difficult to hear, isn't it? That's the difference. It will do it, of course. It can interchange itself. As I say, things have different functions. There's another thing, you've got 2 nostrils there. How often do you find you breathing both at the same time? Usually it's one or the other. What's happening here? What's it doing? Why is one more important than the other? You never notice these things, you're so commonplace, you see. You look at the body and see it's functioning in this way, that way, and that way. It's a marvel. It's a wonderful piece of engineering. But you can learn a lot from that. By being sensitive to its functions in every way. How it responds from one thing to another. Yeah, I suppose it's one of the most wonderful bits of engineering and creation. when you really weigh it up. And we go chasing after knowledge. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Knowledge is power. Yes, it is within the world, I'll grant you that. But knowledge produces a greater ignorance as to its own being. Yeah. The more knowledge there is, the less you notice about the earth itself into puts your living cloud properly there. The absence of knowledge can give you insights as to the nature of your own being. We seek knowledge, wonder about the origins of the world and perhaps surmise from it what its end will be. Does it really matter? Why is it important? What about the living today? Is that not where the problems are? Can we go back and stop it? Then we wouldn't exist. Maybe that's the cure. Go back and stop it ever happening. Too late now, it's already there. We've still got the problems today. Why do we seek this origin? Rubbish. We should be seeking the nature of its own being. You can't find any books on it anywhere. Perhaps the shape and form of things which are, and their way they behave. But nobody shows you anywhere what life is about at all. Coming to me, departing, come to me, depart. Is that the end of it? Not particularly. It has life without form as well. Now there's something to be looked at. Life without form. It can be experienced once you have a form. But very subtly indeed. So we come to begin to see things. We don't realise the depths of that not knowing. That's baited and ignorance. We're stuffed with so much knowledge of things which are apparently real that we can't see the reality beyond it. Are we so completely daft? We can prove to ourselves. We blame the world for our problems. And we can prove to ourselves that we ourselves are the cause of it. We can prove this by the manner in which we behave in the world and see its results in different states of mind, different emotional states. When we push them out there, how it affects this here. I realise that if we take control of these, we control the world around us, and therefore ourselves. We can do this for ourselves and prove it. It's simple as the way. Why don't we try it? Then we can get control of our lives and be free. Instead of being stuck with the conditioned aspects which are uninvited, uncontrolled, just by those around us who are also out of control as well. It's like one bad apple in a barrel. Everywhere the apple gets bad. And if you share the bad news, say this is what it's all about. Is it heck? What it's all about is learning that this is the wrong way of going about things. Do things a different way and then we can get content and therefore not have to come back again. Yes, we can know that too. Don't have to be taught it. It's there, obvious, to be obvious when you can see it clearly. You see it for yourself. Is that clear? These minds are so muddled we can't see it, we're blind to it. Either blind to it or perhaps don't want to know. A bit of both, really. But that's what so many people today, and particularly younger people, more and more often, because they're coming up fresh, new. They've got some instinct deep within themselves that's driving them in a particular direction, and it won't accept anything less. All the old teachings get thrown away because they know they've not got it right. It's never been taught right. That's the trouble. Been taught with delusion. The only truth you can ever know is your own experience. And that is one of our problems. Do we recognize our own experience as being true? Because they don't necessarily equate with other people and need confirmation. Because they don't. So this is a truth that stands out and I can't deny, regardless of any of people's opinions. I think there's about 9 billion people on the planet today, and most of them are ignorant in that base. If 9 billion people say that it's going to be this, then it's not the truth necessarily. Just an odd one can say, no, it's not the truth, this is. But nobody will believe him anyway. Because they're stymied with the ignorance. Don't know how deep it is. Selfishness is the culmination of ignorance. Yes, selfishness. And very few people realise how deep that is ingrained. It's time to take a look at it. Not a pleasant thing to look at, I'll agree with you. But we need to be shocked in order to see things sometimes. Ask a question. You see somebody beating a child or an animal right to the point of death. What do you do about it? Anybody told me?
Stop.
Nobody said to me?
Actually,
You want to stop it?
it's one
Okay.
stop it, yeah.
Quite right, and so one should. Nobody's saying that's wrong. But why? Do you ever ask yourself why? Not because it's something that shouldn't be happening. Because I can't bear to see it. Is that true? Is that not selfishness? I've got to stop it in order to feel better in here. That's the depth of selfishness. Terrible, isn't it? Have a look and see if it's not true. Obviously. You see, then again, you see, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't happen like that. Who's the victim? The perpetrator or the one that's been beaten? Are they not both victims? One's emotionally het up with a twisted mind that needs a great deal of help, needs a bit of compassion, and the other one's suffering it. So both need it. So we condemn the one rather than the other. Look after the one that's being hurt, but don't look after, just condemn the other one. They need more help than this, do they? Where's the compassion? when you look after things, why do you do anything at all to make you feel more comfortable? Is that not true? Even if you're angry, you go and bump something. I'll feel better when I've done that. Is it not true? Unless you see there's something in it for me, you're not going to do it. Is that not so? Okay. Because you're unhappy, you're discontented. And you try and do these things to make you feel a bit better. Dissatisfaction, that's what we're doing. Does it mean we need to be satisfied? Or just get rid of the dissatisfaction? Might that be a good idea? Get rid of the dissatisfaction rather than be satisfied. Because maybe the satisfaction wouldn't last very long anyway. Be something else, which it usually is. But if you got rid of the dissatisfaction and lifted that, maybe you could get a bit more permanence. Because you stepped outside momentarily of the conditioning. Little things to ponder. Just little things to ponder. But one of the things to ponder more than anything else at the present moment is your feelings now. All of you. Been more or less pointed in this direction. And as a result, since you don't know what's coming next, you're sort of momentarily between thoughts, most of you, waiting for what's happening next. Now that's not a bad thing, pretty good thing. Because in this apparent emptiness of mind, if you only feel, you feel more contented. Is that true? Yes. Now I want you to contemplate that feeling. Feel it. Don't look at it by thought, but feel it. It's a lovely feeling, isn't it? To be at ease with it. To relax a little bit into it. To let yourself fall in. Not a bad thing. And you're getting closer to the heart of your being. Because the next thing that rises out of is caring. It's the nature of it, you see, to be cared. To care. Care for what? Anything. It doesn't matter. But be attuned in that caring to everything around you. This lovely, quiet, almost still feeling can be enjoyed. It's very familiar. It's attuned to everything around it. No animosity of any kind whatsoever. Neither does it want any more. It's content. Ponder this. Live with it. Be it for a little while. It's a gentle little thing, isn't it? It's so easy for thought to arise and pull you out of it. But stay, just feel. Because there's something about it that is timeless. Yes, timeless. Time ceases when you're there. So it can be held and enjoyed stay with it. Just be quietly content. Don't allow the grasping out at other things to take place. But don't grasp at this either, just be it. And see how far it seeps through the body. Does it expand through the body? Does it help the body to relax? Have a look. Notice. Feel it. Let it go. And if it fills the body, does it expand outside as well? Can you feel outside of the body in this contentedness as well as inside? You find you can. It has no size or shape. As you might say, it's a bit on the spherical side, in all directions. Front, back, sideways, from top and bottom, in all directions. And the source is within each one of you. It's vast. This is true consciousness beginning to dawn. Get to know it well. It's the best friend you ever had in your whole existence. It knows the way home. Just get to feel its nature and go along for the ride. It will show you everything you need to be known. Just by being content. There's no need to reach out for anything at all. But be well aware of its completeness within itself. Now suppose we return to normal consciousness. Be yourself once again. And take a few moments to recollect the experience of the last few minutes. This recollection is quite important. And now, has anybody got any comments to be made? Things experienced anyway? I know it may be difficult. Real or imagined? Is there anything to be said?
There's just a sense of like a trust in something that it's going to do it for me.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. You can do that.
Mm.
You can do that. But then you travel his way with it, haven't you?
Mm.
It doesn't let you down. Anybody else, anything new? Do you see any colours?
I had
Any fears?
I had a huge darkness, a blackness
Yeah.
with growing, and it had colours like a red flame colour and I think a pink colour
Yeah.
around it, and it expanded everywhere,
Yeah.
inside and
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
and separations ended in, it fell outside,
Yeah.
and when I started to grasp it, I very gently let go, and then it returned again.
Yeah.
The darkness and
Yeah.
completeness,
Yes.
and there was a very strong flame
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
that was very well established as well.
Yeah. That was the overall feeling.
Complete peace and stillness.
That's right. Good. Fine. Lovely. Good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Maybe. Don't tell me nothing, anybody. But if you shut your eyes, you still see reflex colours. Do you not? You don't say you see nothing.
I
Notice everything.
like I've talked to Steve about this before, and it's like a feeling of honey.
Yes.
Yeah, sort of a deep, just honey there down
Yeah.
here.
Way down deep, yes.
Very peaceful.
Yeah.
Still.
But the main feeling comes out is really, shall we say, very peaceful, homely. Yes, that's the thing that matters most of all. There's nothing it has that aspect of feeling as such. There's no possibility of, I think, dynamiting of any kind at all.
No, I was kind of drifting off.
That's
Kind
why
of
it's
consciousness was.
there's a sort of weightlessness, put it that way. Not buoyant necessarily wisely, but just sort of weightless.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, shall we call it a day then? Not a bad start. Not bad. Jolly good, in fact. Jealousy, oh well, we're not doing too bad. If there were anything that was in any one of them that was not of a decent nature, it would have shown out the whole thing. it would have upset the whole thing. It didn't happen. Good. It's true. Because we all share one another, regardless of busy days.
Thank you.
Goodness gracious me. Whatever next. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, what it is. Anyway, I'll slide on to the other person. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It might fly. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Russell.
it's a question of learning from one another.
Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome
you.
indeed. Very welcome indeed.